Sad news for the UK high street, as popular brand Claire's has just announced that it's going to be going into administration, putting potentially 1,350 jobs at risk, as all 154 of its stores will be expected to close this year. Now, what once was an incredibly popular brand, particularly amongst teenage girls, to get things like hair accessories, makeup, those kinds of products, but they've now just been really struggling. And in the last year, sales were even down by 1%, down to £136 million. And that meant that losses were actually £4 million last year. And while this is actually, believe it or not, an improvement on the previous year where losses were £5 million, these kinds of losses are just simply unsustainable. So the company had no choice really but to appoint the administrators. So what contributed to this? Well, like many UK high street chains, the company has just simply really struggled with keeping down costs. You know, everything from labour costs, energy costs, production costs have all massively increased in the last few years. And again, like many high street chains in particular, they're struggling to compete with online companies, you know, particularly with the boom and popularity of TikTok Shop, Temu and Shein are all taking massive market share out of existing players like Claire's, who have more of a high street presence. Now, the company had also racked up millions of pounds in debt, which when you're struggling with sales, you know, you're really going to struggle to pay off this debt, as the interest payments will just be swallowing up any profits that you're able to then use to pay off debt. And then you have to take out more debt to, you know, keep the business going as you're unprofitable, and it just becomes a vicious spiral, which sadly Claire's fell into. And now not only this, but their sister company, the Original Factory, who are owned by the same private equity company, will also be going into administration, meaning that the combined total job losses are likely to be over 2,500 in the UK and Ireland. So comment what you think. Do you think that there was something that could have been done to save Claire's, or are the kind of challenges that they faced just completely unavoidable, meaning that there's just nothing they could have done?